Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Marvel Spider-Man Spidey Amazing Friends set called Hulk vs. Rhino Truck Showdown. This is set number 10782. It has 110 pieces, and I paid $16 for this set. It is a 4+ set. It does retail for $20. I haven't looked at, I don't think any of these like Spidey Amazing Friends sets, but I've often seen them in the stores and I'm kind of interested in some of them because of the minifigures for the most part. In this case, like the Rhino one, I wanted to see. Obviously the printed elements where they are there are interesting to me. And then, you know, there were some other sets with like an Electro and a Doc Ock that were different than other versions that I, was curious about. And maybe I have looked at one of these before now that I think about it, and I'm just trying to remember what that one was like, but I believe I did, and it was like a green goblin ghost, or like Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, and somebody else, I don't know, one of the Spider-Men. So I maybe did look at one of these before, but if that is the case, I'm excited to look at another one here. So I picked this up. In this video, I will open this up, I will put this together, and then I will share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Marvel Spidey and his amazing friends Hulk vs. Rhino Truck Showdown set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like the video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, maybe consider subscribing. That helps me a lot. This is a 4+ set, so we start with the starter bricks, which make the building pretty basic. It sort of errs on that side for a lot of these sets, but there is, several components of this, several little builds, and they all come together to form one pretty cool set. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this Lego Marvel Spidey and his amazing friends set called Hulk vs. Rhino Truck Showdown, the 4+ set. This is okay. It's all right. I have some thoughts about it. It is very much what I expected it to be, which is good, and we will get right into it. And the first thing we will look at is the minifigures, because you do get some. Like I said, that's maybe one of the main reasons I wanted to pick this up. So the first one we get here is Hulk. I don't know if they're Bruce Banner or whatever, and I don't know, like, for the Spidey and his amazing friends, I don't know what kind of ages or where the characters are at various points, because I'm not familiar with that specific show or anything here. But we have a Hulk figure there, so you got the Hulk green. This Hulk figure has hair up there, looks fine. Green head, have a nice expression here, some definition kind of in the cheek area. This one does have an alternate face, which has the Hulk looking a little different with the closed mouth there. So good to get the alternate face. I appreciate that. Looking at the torso, I feel like I don't have a ton of Hulk pieces, or minifigures rather. I feel like I have some of the big figs, and I don't know, unless I've seen like Hulk or Bruce Banner maybe when they're not hulked out and they're not wearing kind of the classic look. I don't know if I've seen them in minifigure form, but I'm sure they exist. So then looking at the torso, we have Hulk without a top on, so we see his Hulk muscles, pectorals, abdominals, and stuff like that. That's fine. There's some good kind of shading in there. Nothing on the arms, nothing on the midsection. And then the legs are dual molded, which is great to see. These are on the regular, or like biggest not the biggest, but the average minifigure leg, or the most common one there, but dual molded to kind of give the impression of the shorts or like the pants or the ripped kind of nature of that, which is very, very cool. And then at the back, we have just some definition for different back muscles and stuff around these shoulders and things like that. I was very happy to see dual molded legs here, which was great. The next one you look at is Spider-Man or Spidey, and this is on the this is slightly different from other Spider characters that I've seen represented. So looking at the head, it's classic kind of red, got the big white eyes with the black kind of border. The production work on this is okay. I would like those eyes to be whiter, but it does end up looking pinkish or grayish because of the black and the red there's a little bit of shading up in the corners. They feel like bigger than typical, but I don't know if that's kind of the cartoonized version of this as it relates to I'm assuming an animated show or something like that. And there's no alternate face for this one. We just get the checkered kind of web pattern on the back. Looking at the torso, it is pretty similar to a lot of Spider-Men or Spider-People torsos. We do have like the logo, we got the red and the blue, we have kind of the web patterning throughout there. I'm not sure if this is specifically for Spidey and his amazing friends, or if this is a torso that has been used for other stuff. Back of the torso has kind of that spider logo back there, and then some red details kind of there. And then these are on the shorter legs, or the smaller legs. They do bend, but they are not as tall as, say, Hulk, and they're not as small as the ones that don't bend at all. So good to see that. They do have some accessories. So they get this web piece, has a couple clips over here, has a bar element over here. So that's their one of their accessories. You can play like they're launching a web kind of out from their hands, or having this clipped to something as a trap or to catch somebody. They also have another accessory that I'll just talk about now, and it's this, I think it's kind of like a jetpack glider type thing, which again I'm always curious about, because generally I wouldn't assume Spider-Man needs that, but it does say jet propelled web slinger. Very, very basic here. Starts with a 2x4. You get this angled plate on there, you add a bracket on there, a couple vented pieces, and then these 1x2s with the Technic pin receiving end. And then we build a couple of these flick missiles. They kind of look like propulsion things too, but they also can be like fired out of there with a flick. Not my favorite kind of projectile, but it's something, and better than a stud or like tile projectile, because the pieces are so small. So good to get this. I think it's fine. You know, Spider-Man here doesn't have to, or Spidey doesn't have to like hold on to anything, so the hands can be free. You just stud it down on these couple studs on the bottom, and I think the scale works okay. And so if this needs to fly around, maybe Spider-Man is traveling extremely long distances, or was running late and this was faster than the webs, or maybe this could get Spidey there faster than other means, I mean, that's fine. And then, you know, having some special kind of projectiles might aid as well. So there's a couple accessories there. And then the last minifigure, maybe the one I was most excited for, is Rhino. So I don't know how many Rhino minifigures there are. I think there's probably a couple. I think there are Rhino big figs as well, but I'm not positive. They probably would have come out when Rhino was kind of more involved in stuff. I think the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation Spider-Man game, the first one, had some Rhino stuff in it. I think the Amazing Spider-Man movies were teasing some Rhino stuff at various point with Paul Giamatti, and I don't know where the character is in terms of the current Marvel Sony Spider-Man canon, but it is a character I've always really liked. So this is pretty cool to see. So right off the bat, they have this awesome kind of armor, which is characteristic of Rhino. I think this is a piece specially for Rhino. So it's like these pauldrons. It is the like helmet all together. So it kind of covers the top of the chest, the shoulders, everything there, and then the head. And I don't believe it's jewel molded. I think the white for the horns here is printed, but if someone were to tell me it was dual molded, I guess I wouldn't disagree. It's just it didn't appear to me to be any like real evidence of that. I would like to think so, but I'm just not sure. Maybe it is just because the color feels pretty purely white, but I'm not sure. This is kind of done in that sort of gunmetal, metallic, dark gray kind of color there, which is great. If we look at the head underneath there, it's kind of basic, not a ton going on. I don't know if I saw this head on a minifigure without some of the other stuff going on here, if I would pick that out as Rhino, but that's okay. The torso here kind of has this armor. This one's done just on the like dark bluish gray there, and the legs are kind of done on that gunmetal gray, dark metallic gray as well. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, nothing on the arms. Back of the torso has kind of some more armor paneling on the rear. And then there's kind of some side buildy type stuff. So besides the jet flyer thing, we do get a city, refuse bin, I suppose, a garbage can, whatever we want to call this. It does have a hot dog in it. This hot dog looks pretty complete to me, so I would say this is still good. I don't know if it needs to be thrown away, but if they wanted something to be in the hot dog, you do get that there, so that is fine. And the next side build is actually pretty cool. The first thing you do is build this, which is kind of this box. It uses that gray like box piece, the clear kind of hinged kind of cover for that, just a tile on top in tan. Inside we have a like diamond or ruby and a gold ingot right there, and this is supposed to represent like a bank vault or a safe kind of, which I think it reads as that. You could put a one of the printed coin pieces in here, or a printed $100 tile in green in there as well. And then we build this, which is kind of interesting. I think this is supposed to be like the bank vault area. Maybe this is a section of a building that Rhino has like crashed into or demolished to try to get access to and pull it out. And so not a ton of pieces used here. 4x4, 2x4 brick, 4 of these 1x2s with the bar elements, a couple panel pieces, these arches, and then those 1x4s with the studs on the outside and just tile on the inside. And what happens is that fits in there, and it's a really good fit. It does slide, but there is enough friction. I don't feel like it's just going to fall out like this, and even just from gravity. So if it overcomes that feels pretty good. You can kind of align it to be flush back there. You might not even notice that it could be removed in this way. So maybe it could have been studded down and you would still get access to kind of opening this up. But then we can like knock out the vault or the safe or the safety deposit box or whatever this is, it's somewhat easy to do, which is very cool. So you have kind of that little bank vault build, and then the rest of the set is these vehicles. So this is the Truck Showdown. So we have 2 vehicles here, not for Spidey specifically, except for the glider, but the first one is the Hulk truck here. And this is interesting. It uses a very basic starter brick here. So it's this big brick piece, has the axles attached to it. We just build up from that. It's all kind of studs on top. Very simple building techniques. A little bit of a detail back here. There's a seat in there that a character could sit in. For most of this, it's 4 wide, but the wheels do make it look a little bit different. I like, you know, these pieces being used in here. A little bit of a windscreen, very, very basic up front. We do have the like big fig Hulk hands at the front, which is, I think, fitting and cool. Those just slot in with Technic pins. You can rotate them around or whatever, but I like that. And then we have the wheels. These are, you know, rubber, and then I like this purple a lot for the rim piece there, and it just has kind of the Hulk colors, sort of a monster truck looking thing too. Not a ton of pieces here. I think there was some good stuff, nothing revolutionary, but overall I think it fits the part. It's a very like sturdy build. It moves well, and so for like this kind of set, I think that's a mission accomplished. There's not any printing or anything on this, I think, or on any of these pieces. I think, you know, this reads as Hulk kind of as is because of the Hulk fists, Hulk hands up there, and then the color scheme, especially if they're driving it. But you know, maybe there could have been something else that was printed. I don't know if it's necessary, so that's good. And then the other vehicle we have, it's the Hulk versus Rhino Truck Showdown, is Rhino's vehicle. So this is pretty cool. It starts with the same starter brick here, so it has the axles kind of on the side. Again, we just build a lot of studs on top, a couple bricks being used. I like that this kind of feels like Rhino plated armor there, so it's a nice use of that piece. We have a spot for Rhino to sit instead of a steering wheel for this one. We have a control panel. They can fit in there. They look good like that. Kind of slopes down, has the other slope here, and it's sort of emulating the body of a rhinoceros, kind of. And then we have like that little bit of color under there, which is okay. This is a print, so that's on one of those like multifaceted kind of curved pieces there. So you get the eyes, get the armor, kind of a face, maybe like these bolts are kind of like nostrils and different stuff like that. So good quality print as well. Nice to get that. Up at the front, we have a brick with the clip, and we put a bigger like barb or talon element in there. I'm not sure why it is black. I feel like it maybe should have been white, but I'm not sure that it needs to be. I just feel like because like Rhino has you know, a white horn on their thing here, that would make sense. I'm sure in various things, like if Rhino's using a suit, then you know, it could be metal or more like a steel, or more, it could be any sort of color. There are a lot of different versions of Rhino. I guess I felt for this specific version, I maybe thought it should match a little more, so maybe make this kind of white so it would match that, but it isn't a big deal. We do still get the impression of like a big horn there, and I'm just looking to see the different versions of Rhino, the big fig versions, and if they've done any other kind of stuff. And it seems like, you know, in some animation, Rhino has like a gray kind of suit body and then a black horn, so it's not outrageous, but it just stuck out to me as a little bit interesting. So that's that. But this is a totally fine car. I like that it's a distinct shape. I think they both read for what they are interesting. This doesn't use rubber wheels. It uses these like 4x4 round brick pieces, and so like one of these pieces, and we can put that on the Technic thing. They actually spin pretty well. We do put a tile on there, and they're a lot quieter than I thought they were going to be, which is kind of nice. So that's really good. And then we also have some storage here for some play. So we do use these 1x2s with the like bar kind of coming off of it. We clip a 1x2 on with the vent there, and so we have some space here, and that is because the bank vault can slot in there really, really nicely. We can close that up, and so it's not going to fall out if we were to drive away with it. It can go either way in here, not a big deal. So either way, that one maybe looks a little bit better to me. It also provides the like tan as like a backdrop there, because if you notice, we can see just right all the way through to the back of Rhino, because this doesn't have a seat. There is like a plate to stop this. If you were to, like, you can only push this in so far. There's not a ton of clearance. There's just enough, which is the right amount for this kind of thing, and so we can get that in there. If you push it in all the way in this configuration, the tile is like flush with the edge of these pieces, so the minifigure still has no problem sitting in there. So that's pretty cool. And then I was sort of experimenting loosely, just trying to ram the Rhino vehicle into the kind of bank wall area here, to see if we can like knock that out. And you can get it like part of the way. I didn't try like super hard. Maybe if I really, really ram this in there, it would come out. It has some pretty good friction, so it might take a few tries. I don't know if that's intended. I think on some level it is, per the like box art and stuff. So I would think that's sort of what's meant to be done. Maybe Spider-Man can swoop in and try to catch this. Maybe the this can go on here. These could certainly be, I could see like ramming into each other, just because Hulk and Rhino both are like a brawler, bigger kind of fighting like characters, and so I could see them having a clash using their vehicles here, and that feels about right to me. So that's pretty cool, and that's kind of everything that's in this set. It's a 4+ set. It doesn't really go crazy or anything. There's also not a ton of amazing inclusions. I do think the Rhino figure is good. Spider-Man or Spidey and Hulk are fine. Happy to see dual molded legs. They're not insanely detailed, but they're perfectly serviceable. You get a little bit of like peripheral stuff, some play there. You get a couple vehicles that are very, very basic, and that's kind of everything that's in this set. I'll show the extra pieces. You just get 2. Usually these 4+ sets don't have a lot of tiny pieces. So we have the gem piece or ruby, and we have the hot dog piece in there. So those are the only extra pieces. And this set is 110 pieces. I paid $16 for it. It retails for $20. And there's 3 minifigures in here. I got it for 20% off, so $4 off, bringing it down to $16. I think 4+ stuff does generally have a premium, because bigger pieces, starter bricks, prints, stuff of that nature, and then in this case, the IP, and you get 3 figures here that I don't, like I said, I don't know how common like a Rhino mini figure is, so it might be one of the few ways to get this kind of character in this form, or in this form factor. And so there is some kind of stuff built into there. I don't necessarily think this is like $10 and this is $10, but because of the extra stuff here, it's not that easy of a split. I don't think these are outrageous. I wouldn't put either of these down at like $5, just because then it would be like a poly bag. And I think both of these vehicles are kind of bigger than a poly bag would be, especially just because of the inclusions in here, like the big starter bricks, like the wheels, like the prints, and then with everything else, I think probably $20 is maybe one of the better value 4+ sets, and it's important not to just only look at price per piece when evaluating these, but other stuff as well. I don't, because this set is probably pretty readily available, the Rhino figure isn't like crazy exclusive or super sought after. If it turns out that this version of Rhino, retires, this set retires, and that is considered a somewhat rare one because maybe these didn't sell a lot or whatever, that could be, or maybe it's just a unique character that isn't present too often in Lego sets. So it is cool to get that, and so for $20, yeah. But again, I paid $16. I wouldn't have probably bought this at $20. I would be on the fence about it. It seems like fine value. I'm just not like super into the 4+ line, and there's a lot of other stuff that I would rather look at. There are better sets for $20, I would say, but for a lot of different reasons, this could be like an all-in-one kind of play set here, versus getting a $20 set that is, for example, like a mech or something that's like $15 or $16 or something, where you have that one thing, but you might want some additional Lego to like play and have a good play and a narrative kind of baked in there, and this has all of that. So like, if they want to knock over and spill the hot dog, or maybe Spider-Man or one of these characters, maybe Hulk was gonna eat this hot dog and then Spider-Man flew above him and like webbed it out of his hand, and then Spidey eats it, or I don't know, there's a little bit of creativity there. So it's like such a small inclusion, but there's a lot that can be done. You get a little bit of like an action play feature built in too, little storyline built in. So I think there's some good stuff here, and overall I'm happy with this. So I think that's it. This was nice. I like to go back to these 4+ sets once in a while, and some are better than others. But this one I liked, and I may be looking at some more Spidey and His Amazing Friends sets, depending on the figures that are available and stuff like that. So great. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. If you decide down the road that you aren't interested in my videos anymore, you can always unsubscribe, but subscriptions do help me a lot, and they mean a lot to me. So thank you very much. And then if you wanted to support the channel in a different way, you could do that here on YouTube. You can give money to the channel, membership, supers, and thanks. You can give money to the channel via Patreon or a Buy Me a Coffee link. Those are in the descriptions. I'll have a link to buy this set in the description as well, which would, I believe, earn me a small commission, but I'm not 100% sure. I think so, but it's probably very, very tiny. And I think that's it. So thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.